Om. 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 So today we are doing from verse 41 to 48. And before I do that, I'm going to share the screen, few slides that I thought it's introduction to this chapter. This 41 to 48, we will just go to. See, in Sanatana Dharma, number 18 is very important in Sanatana Dharma. Number 18. Why? I will tell you why here with slides. Kurukshetra War, that is where Krishna described Arjuna. That's a Bhagavad Gita place where Kuru dynasty fought the war. Total battalions, 18 battalions. There are 11 for in Sanskrit it is called Akshahunis. Kauravas had 11, Pandavas had 7. And each battalion had 20,000 elephant chariots, 65,000 horse chariots, and 100,000 foot soldiers. Mahabharata has 18 sections. And Gita is the 6th section of Mahabharata with 18 chapters. There were a total of 18 battalions. The war was fought for 18 days. And there are 18 Puranas and 18 Upapuranas. So 1 plus 8 is 9. 1 is supreme and 8 is referred to as Ashtada Prakriti. Ashtada Prakriti means 5 elements, space, air, fire, water, earth, plus mind, intellect, and ego. Those are Prakriti, nature. So 9 does not change forever. If you see, if you go and check this, you can always see everything is 9. And you can multiply that 9 by 1, 11, 12, 13, 21, 23, any number. You will only see 9. That is the beauty of Sanatana Dharma. Divya is coming. Welcome, Divya. We're just starting.
Yes.
So, in Sanatana Dharma, number 18 is very, very important. So, 1 and 8 are twofold Prakriti. Para Vidya, 1 is Para Vidya and 8 is Apara Vidya. Nirguna Brahman plus Ashtada Prakriti. That is what. So the 9 is the supreme. 9 is ever existence. Therefore, 18 is the symbolic representation of Nirguna Brahma. Or 9 is the symbolic representation. So that 1 plus 8. 1 is supreme, 8 is Ashtada Prakriti, 5 elements, plus mind, intellect, and ego. That's called eightfold nature. See, if Mahabharata has got 18 sections that I listed it just for our information. This is, we don't have to remember it. And this 6th one, Bhishma Parva, that is where Bhagavad Gita is. 6th one. Now these are Upapurana. These are Puranas. These are Upapuranas. Puranas means major mythology, you can say, major stories. And Upapuranas are auxiliary to those major. So these 18 Puranas have are written the same Vedantic Upanishadic information in the form of stories. So we'll stop here and then come back. This is the introduction. So the Puranas are stories, repositories of ancient lore, often expanding or on the legends or traditional story in the form of story, the Vedas. So now we are going to verse number 41. In chapter 4, Krishna mentioned the entire humanity into 4 distinct categories referred as Varnas. These are not caste system. You need to understand this. Oftentimes, people have misunderstood for generations. Caste is different from Varnas. Caste is created by the invaders who wanted to divide and rule. So, which the society has absorbed. And based on that, they have changed the history also. So these classifications are made on based on gunas, that is natural tendencies of individuals. Must be very clearly understood. Many have not understood, and therefore they are biased in thought, word, and actions. The 4 Varnas are Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaisyas, and Sudras. Krishna did not say Brahmanas are with these gunas. On the contrary, it is said those who have these gunas are Brahmins. Not Kshatriyas have these gunas, but those who have these gunas are Kshatriyas. Similarly, Vaisyas and Sudras. Gunas are nature, Prakriti. That is Maya. All actions are based on gunas, innate nature. We say, no, that person is always angry. That is his nature. We say that. That is the nature. So from this comes innate nature comes from the consequences of karmas from the previous birth. We call it impressions or residues or samskaras in Sanskrit. Imprints from birth. Based on one's action and behavior, we could identify which varna one is. Karmas, that is actions or behavior, is gross and is visible. Nature, aptitude of a person, innate quality of a person is very subtle and is not visible to others. What is one's nature? This can be known only by one's action. It expresses as actions. Now the question may come, how could God classify people? Is it good to have a superior or inferior? But here the response is creation refers to differences. Anything you create is a second entity, right? So say a child is born, a baby, infant, toddler, teenager, adult, senior, or male and female. Differences between humans and animals, within humans, and within one body, there are so many differences are there. These differences are natural. Similarly, the mental maturity is different. The way each one act and perform is also different. Differences are nothing but diversity. Differences are natural. There is no superior or inferior. It is just difference. That's all. But some ignorance, not knowing the scriptural intended meaning, they misinterpret and others blindly follow it without even thinking about it. All 5 fingers are not same. You can use a fork, but a fork cannot hold a cup. Our fingers can hold a cup, right? And all 32 teeth are not same. You have different functionality. Same thing with human beings and animals and everything. Each one has its own unique function and contribution to the universe. These differences, varnas, are universally applicable to the entire humanity, and those who think it is only for India are ignorant. These are applicable to all society, all countries, irrespective of religion or gender. There is a big difference between religion and philosophy. Religion came those days for discipline, self-discipline. So it could be any human, whether he is a garbage collector or a CEO or a priest. It could be anybody. So who is a Brahman? Who is a Brahmin? He says here in verse 42. Purity in mind, mindfulness, self-restraint of senses. We have the choice. Animals do not have the choice. They operate on instinct. Humans operate on intuition. We choose to live, choose to all our actions. Simple living without being pompous. Cleanliness in thought, word, and deed. Patient, kind. kindness. Then arjavam, that is sincere. They are sincere to what they are honest to themselves. I don't have to please anybody. Am I doing the right thing? If my institution tells me yes, then I do it. So next one is worldly knowledge. We need to have the worldly knowledge. At the same time, that is jnanam. Vijnanam is Brahma jnana. Know about the self. So moment by moment, awareness of thoughts, feelings, bodily senses, and environment through a gentle, nurturing lens. Our ability to refrain from demands of senses, not control but sublimate. That is samaha and damaha. That is we have gone through this. Patience, forgiveness, piety, honesty, sanctity, control of senses, reason, knowledge, truthfulness, and absence of anger. So these are the qualities of Brahman. It is very, very rare to see such an individual. But we all need to rise up to that level. Those who have these qualities are referred as Brahman. Varnas have nothing to do with birth or skin color. He could have born in Caribbean island, Germany, Japan, India, New Zealand. He could be a Muslim, Jew, Norman, Christian. It could be anything. Mental maturity and aptitude are the only criteria. Now, who is a Kshatriyan? He says, Shauryam Teja, that is a bold, courageous, fearless, relentless, physically strong, mentally daring to do, and he is firm, solidly grounded on his mission. He is clever, tactful, diplomatic. Then comes dana, charity. Charity is one of the important aspects of Kshatriya. Those days, often they sacrificed even personal wealth for the common good. Karna was one such Kshatriya. Leadership quality. Those who have these qualities are Kshatriya. A Kshatriyan does not mind to get his body wounded, and he is prepared to sacrifice his life for the common good. Now, even we see in day-to-day life, sometimes people are just running to get hold of a child in front of the car. They are ready to sacrifice their life. Even if the car hits me, I am going to save this child. That is a Kshatriyan attitude, fearlessness. Who is a Vaisyan? Vaisya, a farmer or a business person, an entrepreneur, farm management like cows and goats and sheep, or manufacturing, anyone who is manufacturing, independent and not working for a paycheck, transferring a raw material to finished good, trading, sharing the products with public. Whatever I create, I share it with public. So I'm also sharing, I'm also profiting. Manufacture and distribution of alcohol and drugs are prohibited here. So then he says in verse 44, line 2, one who obeys supervisor's orders and works for a paycheck is referred as a Sudra. These are laborers. They cannot make decisions, big decisions for the company, organization. Professors and teachers, they are referred to as Brahmana. They are knowledgeable, they teach. Then government management, they are called Kshatriyas. Government employees are Sudra. People who get bribes and who focus on material life are Sudras. These four are not by birth, but mainly based on gunas, the innate nature and personality. These are applicable to all humans around the world. A family can have 4 children. So out of the 4 children, they can have 4 different aptitude and interest. One may be a government employee, right? Another may be in military. And the third one may be doing a business. Fourth one may be a scientist or a professor. So it's not based on birth. It's based on their innate quality. That's what he's emphasizing. Verse 45 to 48, he's emphasizing on Karma Yoga. Each individual does their own duty with enthusiasm and commitment and attains purity in the mind. There's no superior or inferior in any actions. No work is insignificant. Even a worm that you can see in the soil It loosens the soil. Bats and hippos, they have their own functionality. You can actually Google all this. What is the functionality of a hippo? People worship that one supreme by performing their own duties. All activities must be performed as an offering to Lord. Whatever we do, it's an offering. That attitude helps one to acquire divine knowledge. And those actions take one to self-realization. Prayer and duties are not two separate actions. Every action can be performed as an offering. Those who think otherwise are ignorant. We don't have time. We don't have to go to, that's what in Bhagavad Gita he says. I understand your life. You don't have time to come to the temple. That's fine. But whatever you do at home, do it as an offering to me. Krishna says you don't need extra effort or time to go to the temple and pray. Just do your duty as an offering. When we perform with that attitude, we put extra effort to be more precise and with devotion. That is prayer. Whatever you do it to the best of your ability without likes and dislikes and expecting nothing in return. I will provide you with everything that you need, whether you are a trash picker, a teacher, a business person, or a cook. Perform your duty as karma yoga. Then the entire place becomes, when we do that way, our home is a temple. You don't need a separate puja. So 47, he says same as verse 3 chapter 3.35 verse. Do your duty, and in doing so, even if you face death, but do not perform others' duties. Arjuna was in the war front and he could have been killed, but just like school teachers nowadays, we have seen that protecting children, right? Soldiers fight and they get killed, but do not do someone else's duty. Meaning, brahmachari, who is in the early stage of it is his duty to study and get qualified. He cannot become a sannyasi because his mind is not ready for that. A family person is there, he has to do what he has to do. His responsibility is to go on and then take care of the family. A sannyasi can be there and then he may start, business by making money, by teaching the scriptures. So it can be anything. So don't do up different things. Whatever one is drawn to based on one's own quality is the best. One of my friends actually wanted her daughter to be a doctor. She went and joined and studied, and then finally she said, "No, I'm not doing this. I'm becoming a business person." She started doing business. So that is her innate quality. So we want to make sure that we let everybody do what they want to do. It is their samskaras or impressions. 48, when one is objective without bias, one can notice that all actions have a gain and a loss. It is referred as constructive destruction. That is a bigger picture. Only when we step back, we can see that. Only when a seed destroys, a plant can sprout. When we breathe, tiny lives die. But, right? That is why Jains always have a mask. They think that way. But even if I breathe, I kill some insects. So when I eat, that means somebody is not getting food. When I'm sitting quietly and meditating, this body is given by my parents, is idle, not helping others. Right? So each action at one point, at one situation can give more benefit and less loss. And in a different situation, the same action could give greater loss and less benefit. We can think about vaccinations. Snake poison, when used at one point, they give greater benefits. They are actually as a vaccination. And in excess, it is counterproductive. An ignorant always focus on what is in it for me. Whereas a realized one uses his body to perform based on the innate nature and that is aptitude as an offering and a mode of worship to the higher divine. All humans will with this body or embodiment are suggested to perform actions as per one's innate quality or nature, tendency, Meaning a squirrel can climb a tree, but we cannot expect a fish to climb a tree. So they have their own innate. A grapevine takes its own course. We cannot make it grow like a tree or a bush. Same applies to human beings. All actions must be performed based on the stages of life. Which stage are you in? So, but again, he says inaction, not doing is not an option once the body is taken. Verse 49 to 54, he talks about self-knowledge. Without likes and dislikes and without bias, any bias, perform your duties with the attitude that body, mind, and intellect are functioning. I am neither the doer, I am not the enjoyer. I am the witness of all activities happening around me. That is me, not this body, mind. I am the observer of all actions and inactions. I am the observer of presence and absence, darkness and light. I illuminate all. I am that light. Such a jiva has no sin, no papa, no punya, therefore no rebirth. All actions arise from ignorance, not knowing who I am. Avidya, that is ignorance. From there, it starts with kama, that is desire. Desire leads to actions. Action leads to consequences, another body. Consequences to another body. These actions have consequences resulting in different bodies. Thereby more actions and more consequences. Cycle of birth and life and birth continues continuing until self-realization. Upon self-realization, that is Jnana, Karma, Sanyasa Yoga, it is in chapter 4, it is given with the knowledge that this body, mind, and intellect equipment is functioning because of me. I, Atma, is Akarta, Abhokta. Because of that, Atma is present in this body is functioning. Otherwise, it is not going to function. Right? So, when we realize that Jiva escapes the cycle of birth and death. Therefore, in renouncing the doership and enjoyership, body is still functioning and he is in inner peace without being affected or perturbed by whatever is happening outside. Verse 50, purifying the mind without likes and dislikes. That's the important thing. Therefore, without any anxiety, worry, fear, attaining the knowledge of that supreme presence is the final destination that Krishna introduces as the knowledge of self. Karma Yoga is a practice where we equip ourselves to be ready for Jnana Yoga by purifying our thoughts. Jnana Yoga is gaining that self-knowledge. The process of Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasana, listening, contemplating, and getting clarified, getting convinced, and then being firm in that, grounded in that knowledge is Jnana Yoga. So in Mananam, all your thoughts or your doubts are getting clarified. In Nididhyasanam, there are some habits due to our own gunas, could be an obstacle in continuous dhyana or meditation, or to practice that self-knowledge in day-to-day life. But as we meditate on that knowledge, we gain enormous mental strength. It's referred to as Atma Bala, Buddhi Bala, Mano Bala. If Nididhyasana is not done, which is the meditation after the knowledge, is not done, all the practices that are done till now have no benefit. Meaning there is a strong possibility to get entangled into the samsara of worldly attractions again and again. It is standing in, it's like, standing in line. I used to pay electric bill those days in India. I used to go and wait there in the electricity board. Wait for 20 minutes. There are 20 people or 30 people before me. I'll wait for 20 minutes and then 10 people are gone. Oh, then I'll go back. But then that time that I spent is waste. I have to go back again tomorrow and spend again time. Tomorrow, you don't know, we may have more people. So that's how when we practice all this must be, Nididhyasana is the important thing. You have to continue till that end, until realization. So chapter 3 talks about Karma Yoga, chapter 4 and 5, Jnana Yoga, chapter 6 is Dhyana Yoga. So Nididhyasana is the meditation after gaining the self-knowledge. There are certain rules that are again emphasized in chapter 6. One is food, not eat full stomach, always eat in moderation. Meditate in solitude, in isolation. Have a single pointed focus on the self. Do not let the mind drag you away. So that is one thing. 51, the intellect has to be pure. That is Sukshma Sharira, subtle body. Sharp intellect is the ability to discern, differentiate Atman from Anatman, the seer from the seen through Sattva Guna. When I was a little girl, my mom used to just light the lamp and say, prostrate and ask for good buddhi. I didn't know what buddhi was at that time. We never asked for anything, grade or mark or promotion or anything. We just said, give me good buddhi. What does that mean? I didn't know. And now I know. The ability to discern the right from wrong, that is buddhi. So, Shuddha buddhi, that is given in chapter 13. Chapter 18, again, he has in verse 51 to 53 are very important verses, 51, 52, 53. What is the purpose of my existence is the clarity of a sharp intellect, the self-inquiry into the ultimate goal. Everything else, all the practices, duties, relationships, power, position, recognitions, physical health, bank balance are all tools, practices to attain that supreme goal. What is the purpose of human body is the self-realization. So without faith, without trust or devotion, that practice is not possible. What is Shraddha? Shraddha is the unconditional faith in scriptures and Guru's teachings. These are not two separate entities. Scriptures come out through Guru. That is Shraddha. There's another one called Ashraddha, that is doubting the scripture itself. Is this scripture right? It doesn't agree with me. Because scriptures often teach differently conflicts with our experiences. Guru says you have no birth and you have no death. But I see people dying and I'm afraid of death. It is nice to listen but not practical. That is Ashraddha. We need to listen with an open mind, then analyze what is heard, analyze what I am experiencing, and compare both, get into questions, get those questions clarified, and finally get convinced. Then the third one is called Shraddha. This is being convinced fully in the wrong notion. Like saying, that is a snake. That is definitely a snake, when you see a rope. Or you can say, it's a blind belief. You can say, Shraddha. I will listen to whatever this person says. Or I will not listen to whatever this person says. You have to use your thinking. But when we blindly follow, that is Shraddha. Therefore, the intellect that is fully convinced on self-knowledge, without a grain of salt, any doubt, this is my purpose, this is the truth, is the final form, solid, grounded conviction, is the pure intellect. So, we can remember Gandhi's 3 monkeys: sacrifice all external information. Do not get involved with outside world. Do not listen, see, or get involved in unnecessary situations. These are just my added information there. So verse 51 is saying, during this stage, after Shravanam and Mananam and Nididhyasanam stage, one should be completely free from likes and dislikes, be objective and unbiased. There would be people in our past lives who have hurt us in many situations. Here Krishna uses one word. We view vidasya, that is meaning just throw away. Do not even hold it. Just throw it. Whatever happened. Forgive and forget. Do not carry baggage with you. Do not hold any like and dislike towards anyone. And do not recall those people or incidences. Be like a toddler. A child, a 4-year-old will be holding a lollipop, and whether it is a wedding or a funeral, they will be just enjoying. They are not affected by what is happening around. Be like a child. So that at that time you will experience inner presence. In 52, he says, Vivikta desevi, that is, choose solitude. That way your mind is not involved in unnecessary thoughts. This is all from chapter 18 is a summary of the entire Gita. So it will be all repeated. That your mind is not involved in unnecessary thoughts. Eat in moderation. That means all five senses, not just eating. So often when, when in isolation, try to be active, not be lethargic or sleepy. One should not be, that is tamo guna. If you are all day, sometimes some people are always in the bed all day through. They wake up, have breakfast, go to nap or be in the bed, and then wake up again for lunch, and then go back again, then wake up for tea. That is tamasic attitude. So when the body is active, mind cannot be calm. Therefore, mind, thought, word, and deed has to be in our control. Surrender yourself is the Jnana Yoga. On that self, I am that. Starting from Karma Yoga, this is the final practice leading to self-realization. Self-discipline in all areas is important. Therefore, dispassion needs to be strong. As that there are quite challenging to practice. These are quite challenging to practice, but you could easily slide back. We all have that dispassion to a certain extent, definitely. That is why we are able to attend these classes on a consistent basis. Otherwise, you would be watching TV now, right? So listen actively, contemplate what is heard, ask questions, clarify it, and drawn to listen more. Pause in this, pursue in this path. An ignorant aspires to be in a crowd always with people around, whereas a realized one is self-contented, happy within being alone. He or she does not need any external factor, people or events or things to keep that person happy. I don't need anyone to entertain me. I am happy from within. Loneliness is in the mind. Some are lonely even in a crowd. One can live alone and still be not still not feel loneliness. Then too much of food is heavy to the body and too little is weakness. Therefore, in moderation. Those yogis who eat in moderation have clear thinking and vitality in physical body. A yogi commands his thought. He commands his thoughts. You can try this. This I have tried for the past year. It is very helpful. When you go to bed, you tell yourself, tomorrow morning I'm going to wake up at 5 a.m. And you will wake up at 4:58. I tell myself, because tomorrow there's no class. So I don't have to wake up at early. I can wake up at 5:30, 6 o'clock. I'll set an alarm at 6 and tell myself I need to wake up at 5:45. And 5:43 I will wake up. Your mind should be in your control. Try this. This is a simple thing that you can try. When you try over, then your mind is in your control. So a yogi commands his thoughts. His mind is in his control. He chooses his thoughts, what I should think and what I should not think. It doesn't come like that. You have to choose it. This is one indication that mind is in one's control, not involved in unnecessary thoughts or situations. It doesn't talk until required, doesn't use unnecessary words, doesn't gossip, doesn't talk about others or talk to others unnecessarily. This is the benefit of being silent in thought, word, and deed. Yogi's body and mind are not agitated. They are always calm all through the day. It is natural for a common man to interact and be active and involved in the worldly activities. And it is natural for a yogi to be single-pointed, silent in all five senses. We are not ready yet, but once we understand, you can practice it. That's all. It doesn't mean that we are any inferior. Not getting entangled in the worldly affairs is dispassion. Be a part of the world, yet apart from it. It is the best strategy. We all have this dispassion. That is why we are attending these sessions for nearly 2 years now since we started Bhagavad Gita. But that dispassion is not strong enough. After this session, we get caught up with other distractions in life, right? That is normal. So Krishna says, at this stage, both body and mind need to be redirected to the self-knowledge. Dhyana, meditation is an attitude. Meditation is not just sitting around, it is an attitude. That attitude, I am that, should be consistent even when involved in the worldly activities. Verse 53, 52 is all the do's and 53 is all the don'ts. Dissolve your ego, pride. I can do anything is confidence. But I can do something better than you is arrogance and pride. I can be alone, I can do fasting, I am quiet. Even if all these things are weeds, they come as we learn more, higher and higher. So before we had inferiority complex, now we have superiority complex. So when we have great family, bank balance, health, these thoughts arise as weeds. In this verse, Krishna says, remove the ego, arrogance, and that I can do anything. Physical and mental strength that gives. Eliminate anger, lust, craving, desire, possess minimum needs. The more we have, the more our focus is on the external things, protecting them actually. When we don't have anything, there is no fear. Beyond, we save to feel secure. But after having X amount of money in the bank balance, what do? We are now afraid of IRS, bank interest, bank stability, economy, all those things. So meditate on that one without attachment to all these temporal things. Yes, mentioned in Gita chapter 9, verse 22, Yoga Kshayam Vahamyaham. That is, those who surrender unto me, I will protect you. I will provide you with what you need, and I will maintain what you have. That's a very important thing. I will take care of you. So be without ego, leave all the attachment with the temporal and meditate on me. That is Nididhyasana. So what is the benefit of Nididhyasana? A yogi who is realized is referred to as Prasannatma. That means sparkling, shining, illuminating personality with a complete clarity in one's thought. He is not sad about anything and does not aspire for anything. In the worldly situation, he could be misunderstood as he is in depression. But when a yogi is dispassionate, others see from their perspective. He doesn't care. He or she doesn't care what you get. Accept what is and then keep going. Having everything in life but not a healthy mind is no help. Mental calmness is the goal of life. At the tail end of life, one needs to be happy, calm, without anxiety. All others with their own lifestyles, with their own things. Like example, I am with family, right? They are always busy. We don't have time to talk. We only do WhatsApp. When are you coming today? That's it. So 6 p.m. That's the conversation we have. So as we get older, we may lose our vision, we may lose our hearing, we may lose our senses, but will be there. Only our mind will be always with us. So we need to attain a peaceful mind that is leaning on or dependent, not leaning on or not dependent on anything from outside or anyone from outside. I don't need anybody to entertain me. I will keep myself busy. Mind is both your friend and enemies. In chapter 6 is mentions, chapter 6, verse 5 and 6. Where we attain when we attain this state of mind, unperturbed, undisturbed, unagitated, that is moksha, that is liberation. That's the benefit of nididhyasana. Verse 55 to 62, he talks about devotion, bhakti. This was introduced in chapter 7 and 9. It's elaborately spoken in chapter 12, which is bhakti yoga. Now, karma yoga is itself is bhakti, he says, devotion. One cannot perform without an offering attitude, without a devotion. To have that devotion, there should be a devotee, trusting in the Supreme. Only a devotee knows me, identifies me, says Krishna. If one asks self-knowledge is better or devotion is better, which is superior? People always ask, should I take the bhakti path or should I take jnana marga? These are depending on one's own perspective, but Krishna says that at advanced stage of spirituality, both are one and the same. as two wings of the same bird. One needs both. For a, for example, for a bird to fly, you need both wings. So knowledge without bhakti, just knowledge alone is useless. It is intellectual. And devotion without knowledge could be superstition. So you have to have that knowledge, and that only then you get the bhakti. Devotion arises from knowledge. When we do not know anything about a person, say I introduce you to somebody, and you don't know anything about that person, then you don't have any admiration, love, interest, or attraction or respect for that person. But the more you interact with that person, then you are drawn to this. Either you are drawn to that person or you stay away from that person, right? So devotion and self-knowledge, they go hand in hand. This Vedanta is like a two-edged sword. It can either dissolve your ego in its entirety, or it can boost your ego to arrogance. A realist sees all beings as the expression of that one. In the worldly life, if we do not know something, we often do research and come to the conclusion. Like gravity was discovered. Earth was initially thought it was to be flat, but then they proved to be round. And many scientific facts, revelations come from scientific experiments. But in spirituality, all humans are confused and challenged with the question, who is God, where is God? It has been there for several generations. But certain sages and saints who have realized that experience from within. But like the earth and gravity, the self-knowledge cannot be shared. Worldly information are the efforts of one individual, and the knowledge that that person has gained is an information for all. There are others just don't need to put in the same effort that a scientist did, right? Whereas self-knowledge, when shared with others cannot understand. They may not be able to grasp it. They may or grasp it intellectually, but to realize that one has to put the same effort or even more effort than those realized sages. It is a DIY program, do it yourself program. We have to put the same effort. This knowledge is not hidden. People often, I have heard people say, the Vedanta is hidden from certain groups of people. No, it is not hidden. One has to be ready to understand and grasp. There is no, one has to have the intense desire to know about it, practice what is heard. After clarifying the doubts and get convinced, self-knowledge cannot be taught or given by a teacher or a scripture. They are only, scriptures and teachers are only pointers. They trigger, they put the seed in you, and then you have to self-analyze, self-assess. There is no fast track, there is no shortcut. Consistent, regular practice is absolutely necessary in spiritual path for self-realization. Until then, the royal secret, it is, chapter 9 is referred to as Rajaguhyam, royal secret. And until the person is able to grasp and understand, it is a secret. Then I cannot teach calculus to a third grader, right? But that person has to come up to 9th grade, 10th grade to understand what is calculus. Until then, it is hidden for that person. Same thing. So only then you can come to this Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasana. You have to go step by step to know my true nature, he says. So without trust, verse 56, without trust, faith, Shraddha, that is, in spite of all attempted spiritual practices, it is not possible even to perform those practices without a trust in me. So don't think that you can do it all. You can do it only with my grace. Everything is happening because of my presence through the tool, which is you. You are you as a Vijaya. This body is only a tool. Knowledge and devotion both are required. Divine grace and individual efforts equally important for self-realization. Think about a sparrow. Sparrow has to come down the tree to get the grain that is just under below the tree. It is not dropped into the nest. So we have to do our effort. So verse 57, therefore using this intellect, you surrender all actions to me and let me be your only goal. Ananya Bhakti. As specified in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2.11, that is chapter 2.11 in chapter 17, put the whole trust in me, follow the and lead a dharmic, righteous life. I specify and keep your thoughts in me, he says. Analyze, think, inquire as to who am I, what is mine. All activities, movements, situations, incidences are of that Supreme, happening through beings who are but tools. His actions are expressing, proving that Nirguna Brahman alone is. That is the symbolism of his flute. This body has 9 holes, 2 eyes, 2 nostrils, 2 ears, mouth, reproductive and excretory organs, 9 holes. That is the symbolism of a flute. A flute has 9 holes. His music flows through the flute. The flute cannot say, I am singing. Same thing, I am not doing. Everything is through me, through this body. Therefore, performing all actions with a surrendering attitude, without the thought that I am the doer, instead his actions, his desires are fulfilled through this body, is renunciation. That is sannyasa. Mentally, body, mind, and will be still performing, but mentally renunciation. That is sannyasa. Sannyasam is not just outside appearance. It is a mental attitude. So 58, what is the benefit of devotion to me, to you? Or when you jiva, individual, is devoted to me, Nirguna Brahman, you will cross over all obstacles. That's possible only through devotion. There are 2 worlds, the outer world and the inner world. Obstacles, challenges, problems are in both worlds, both outside and inside. Wherever there are diseases, that can be eradicated. Wherever there is no water, water can be brought in. These are challenges of the outside world. With all the scientific and technological development, all these things, whatever problems outside, they're all achievable. But in spite of that, complete happiness to the entire humanity cannot be attained. There would be development and improvement, but not contentment. Transactional reality, one thing has to be destroyed for another to develop. Constructive destruction, right? So a seed has to destroy to become a plant. But focusing on the inner world is much more important. If that is not done, however beautiful the external situation may be, the environment may be, one is not calm. Once the inner world is taken care of, that person, that jiva is calm, happy, and in peace in spite of the external situations. So focusing on the internal challenges, problems, difficulties, hardships, are not outside, they are in the mind. Those who surrender to that one supreme, all these appear to be divine acts, not the struggles and not struggles that affects the individual when we surrender to it. It's all drama. That's what Nataraja's dance, Krishna Leela, it's all happening around us. But we don't get affected by that. So 58, line 2, he says, Krishna is cautioning us that if you do not follow the guidance given due to your ignorance, ego, you will get yourself into deeper trouble. As an individual, we need to attain your purpose as a human being. Meaning, otherwise you will be born again and again. That's what it means. You dig your own hole. No one does it for you. We are the product of our choices. We have the intellect to analyze, think logically, critically, analytically, and make the right decision. Ask and inquire. What is my goal? What is the purpose of my existence? Guidance is readily available, but one needs a trust. 59, Krishna is saying to Arjuna, if duty, arrogance, you say, I'm not going to fight. Your innate nature as a warrior is to fight. You can leave this war front and go to forest and do meditation. But when an animal comes, you will immediately drawn to fight. You are not going to forgive, right? You will not follow ahimsa at that time towards that animal, which is the prime duty of a renunciate. So each human is trapped by their innate nature. A businessman after 5 years may experience a loss. He gives some example. And then try to become a sannyasi. I'm going to Ramanashram, or I'm going to Himalayas. I'm becoming a sannyasi. What will happen after 2 years? He cannot focus. He'll say, okay, there is a rosary, Rudraksha. Start a Rudraksha business. He will start Rudraksha business because his innate nature is to do business. That is his innate nature. So when you said, I will not fight, it is an emotional decision, not an intellectual decision. That is why intellect is very important. We have to think and then make a decision, not emotional decision. The emotional decisions comes from ego. You will be drawn to do what you refuse to do. That is emotional decision. Verse 61, Arjuna, Nirguna Brahman is in all beings. Every being is like a remote control toy, spinning top. Based on individuals' karma, I trigger their life. With 5 senses of the mind, each being is caught by their own gunas, aptitude, personality, nature. Chariot is in this body is an example. We can see 5 horses are there. The reins are there to pull the. Even behind me, you can see that picture there are 5 horses, right? Those 5 horses are the 5 senses that it draws us to different directions. And the mind goes with that, right? And the charioteer sitting there is the intellect. That intellect should control the mind and senses. Atman is sitting at the back riding. Atman is just a witness, a bhokta, a karta. So verse 62, Arjuna says, surrender to that one. You will attain the guidance, peace, and liberations from the shackles of birth and death. He is an avatar. That is the difference between Sanatana Dharma and ISKCON temple. ISKCON temple says Krishna is God. But Sanatana Dharma says Krishna is an avatar. He has taken a form to teach us. But that Nirguna Brahma is undefinable. It has no form. You cannot see. Okay? So think, he's talking as Nirguna Brahma here. Surrender to that one. He's saying, surrender to me. When he says surrender to me, not Krishna, he's referring to Nirguna Brahma. So thinking I am this body, I am the doer, will escalate attachment to the bodily existence. All jivas are in him, and just like the waves are in ocean. When we claim this is my house, but it is not your house, it is part of the universe. You own nothing and you enjoy everything from the absolute perspective. All the movements are of the waves are of nothing but water in the ocean. All the actions, all the activities, movements of individuals is all expression of Nirguna Brahman. That Nirguna Brahman, that Atman is in this body, that is why it is all expressing. The talking, the walking, the thinking, moving, everything is an expression of that one inside. Without that, this is nothing. This is only a log of wood. Right? So all are done through a variety of tools. Know this and stay firm with that conviction. Divine grace is like a breeze, like air. It is always there for everyone. One who surrenders to him is like a pirate who is sailing without efforts with the help of the breeze. So is the life of a devotee. Even when acting, performing, there is no attachment. Without an attachment, body is functioning and all challenges does not affect the one who has surrendered into that Nirguna Brahman. That person experiences the individual inner peace. In verse 63 says, Krishna gives the freedom to Arjuna. Arjuna, I have given you the royal secret. You do what you wish to do. It's always wise to impart knowledge, the pros and cons, and let others decide what to do as per their innate nature. Let them analyze it, let them decide. This is a lesson for all of us when we deal with our children or our subordinates. Krishna is giving Arjuna the freedom to choose and not demand or command to follow his path. He is not saying, I'm going to tell you, you do what I say. No. Swami Dayananda Saraswati used to say, the more you give freedom to others, the more freedom you have. We need to leave others to follow their own gunas, qualities, and personalities. We have to assess and self-reflect where we are, how do I interact with people. Verse 64 is the gist of Bhagavad Gita, gist of chapter 18. Chapter 18 is the gist of whole Bhagavad Gita. And whole Bhagavad Gita is the gist of Vedas. So Vedas means Karma Kanda and Jnana Kanda. Karma Kanda is all the rituals, ceremonies, everything. Jnana Kanda is I, world, God, and their relationship. So Karma Kanda is verse 65, Jnana Kanda is verse 66. Verse 65 means chapter 1 to 12. That is the gist of those chapters is 65. First, the ultimate goal of human existence, which is to remove struggles, sufferings, and sorrows. That is Karma Kanda. And be in peace in total contentment. And the byproduct is the no rebirth. Nobody has come and told us. So we don't know, we cannot prove it. That is the byproduct. But the being happy in this life, in this current body, to know, understand, and realize is the knowledge. That is Brahma knowledge, Atman knowledge, that is the truth. It is the destination of human birth. The tool to get there is Upanishads and Vedanta. To understand Vedanta, there are prerequisites. Say if you want to go from point A to point B, you have to determine where you want to go, your destination. Then what mode of transportation I am taking. Then only you buy the ticket. So Vedantam is a scripture that helps us to pre-qualify Vedas, early part, first Karma Kanda. So Karma Kandam leads to Jnana Yoga. From Dvaita only you can go to Advaita. One cannot go directly. There is no fast track. So do Karma Yoga first and then move. Keep listening to all this and automatically from Karma Kanda you will move to Jnana Yoga. All activities are Karma Yoga, especially when done with Karma Yoga, offering and accepting attitude. Only then all the listening, contemplating, meditating will all materialize into moksha. 65, emphasis on Karma Kanda, how to pre-qualify or meet the prerequisites. 66 is the later part of Veda Upanishads. 65 and 66 are the gist of Vedas. To go from any place, first one needs to wish to go. First, wish to go. Without that determination, decision, one can never go anywhere, right? A formed decision. Therefore, decide what you want and that you want to attain me. Let me be your goal, destination, target, objective in this life. Whatever we ask, we always get it. But to attain him, that is to self-realize it, one has to go through plenty of challenges. There are tests to see how committed you are to attain that supreme, to reach that goal. Like a job, you don't get a job just because you gave your CV or resume. Even though there are a lot of objectives, you have qualification. You need to go through the interviews, answer all the questions, situational questions. These are like simulations. Similarly, in life, we will face challenges. And in those times, how devoted are you? How much trust do you have in that Supreme is the test. This is the essence of devotion. Words further emphasize that do everything for that one which is Karma Yoga. Follow the lifestyle that's given here. I'll take care of you. You do your duty, I'll take care of all your needs. Trust me, Nirguna Brahman says, unconditionally. Take that one step, first step, and I will walk you through. This is my promise to you, Krishna says. Do not doubt this. When you take that one step towards me, I will take care of you. So I remember one of my family friend in Bombay, 40 years ago. She was doing all the pujas every day. Then suddenly her husband passed away. Then she took out all the pictures and threw it. She completely lost trust. So at that time, I didn't understand, but now it is coming back. You know, you don't ask for the material things. Everything is temporary, ephemeral. Nothing is going to be there permanently. When things happen, you just say, you know what, this is all for good. So, but that trust is important. So, verse 65, he emphasized a desire to attain that supreme, dispassion to the temporal, then devotion, which is bhakti yoga, then karma yoga, duties, so we are qualified for self-knowledge. Bhagavad Gita starts from chapter 2, verse 11, ends in chapter 18, verse 66. So we are in the 66 right now. Krishna started in 211. Arjuna realized once, do not grieve for those who die or those who are alive, which means ignorance grieve, right? So he's saying, he teaches chapter 2 to 17, he teaches self-knowledge. And now he says, imparting that knowledge. Now you do not grieve because you got this message. Gita is a tool to eradicate, remove human grief from the human's mind. That self-knowledge removes the ignorance in its entirety. Thereby the sorrow that arises from it as well is destroyed. The cause of all our sorrows is the ignorance of not knowing who am I. Surrender all actions to me, and I will relieve you from all sins. Therefore, do not grieve. And he says, surrender to me, is Nirguna Brahma is speaking directly to us. All this time, Krishna kept saying, do your duty. Now he's saying, surrender all actions to me. What does that mean? Krishna is addressing to those who have performed karma yoga, devote bhakti yoga, and are in jnana yoga. Such an individual has renounced everything except righteous actions. Krishna is asking to renounce those actions, those righteous actions as well. Here, dharma means duties. So it does not refer to values here. At this stage, seekers are of values. So here, after gaining self-knowledge, people are still performing duties, like all of us, due to prarabdha, based on our own past consequences. It says, renounce all actions is for Jnana Yoga, those who have gained self-knowledge. For beginners, Karma Yogi has to do his Swadharma, duties. Because of that, mental purity is attained and leads to self-knowledge. Sarva Dharman Parityajya. He says, renounce all actions means work performed with that attitude. This body is performing, this mind is performing. I am not the doer, I am only the witness of these actions. That is mental renunciation. I am not the doer, I am not the enjoyer. This is for a seeker who has performed karma yoga, bhakti yoga, that is devotion, then has come to gain self-knowledge. Only then the renouncing attitude can be achieved. This is the final stage towards liberation. This is the essence of sanyasa. It's not a lifestyle, it is renunciation in the mental. So initially humans trust on possession, bank balance, security, job, family relations, but Krishna says, trust me unconditionally is the meaning for surrender. So when a child is sick, we try home remedies, or I'm sick, we try home remedies, right? For 2-3 days. Then we realize that my knowledge is limited. This is not helping. Let me go to the doctor. Similarly, for our mental peace and contentment, nothing that in the world can offer. You can have a lot of money, you can have great loving relationships, you can have beautiful house, everything. But none of this can help give you mental peace. So Lord alone can guide me into this. That is devotion. But here the meaning of devotion here is dissolve your ego. There is Lord and He will take care of me, my health, my family. That is the Dvaita Bhavana, duality. I am separate from God. In verse 66, it says, I alone is, and I, that human, refers to this is ego. There is emphasis on non-duality here. I alone is, there is no second, no jiva. Dissolve your I and mine. That is the essence of Jnana Yoga. Once you recognize this truth, I will protect you from all sin, both papa and punya, sin and vice. From Vedantic perspective, both are consequences. These consequences originate from ignorance because even punya gives you the next birth to enjoy it. So both are papa according to Sanatana Dharma. You don't want next birth, right? So these consequences originated from ignorance of not knowing I am full and complete bliss. Ignorance leads to second one. desire. Desire leads to actions. Action leads to consequences. Consequences leads to next birth, next body. So the cycle keeps completing. There is no subject object for I. When you say computer, you know what is a computer. There is an object, a pen, a pencil, a book, whatever you say, there is an object. But what is the object for I? There's no object. And mind refers to many things around us. But then, in fact, there is no I and there is no mind. Only when human seeker realizes this, ignorance is dissolved. Therefore, all the sin and good deeds are removed, leading to body and mind being completely erased, removed also. Therefore the pain and pleasure of the body is also removed. When I am not the body, the body's situations are not mine, right? So Arjuna, do not grieve. When I and mind loses its existence, you are completely liberated, no shackles, you are free. This is the royal secret. 67. Do not share with those who are not interested to pursue, to practice this, to attain this knowledge. What it means that even if you explain, they will not understand you. Give only to those who ask. Knock and the door will be open. There are some with that attitude that I have studied for years. I know it all. After all, what is she going to teach? I know it. That attitude people come sometimes in classes. Sometimes they want me to, or the guru teacher to agree to what they think. So he says, some come to challenge the scripture. It is difficult for some to accept that I do not know, to have an open mind. Ego is very strong. One needs to do Shravanam, listen with an open mind, compare with life experiences and analyze and self-inquire. Those who have pride, arrogance, attachment to the body will never get it, he says. Royal secret. These have no devotion, they have no devotion to scriptures, and when you try to explain non-duality, it will only lead to an argument. Only those who have humility, open mind, service attitude to all beings can be told. This is misinterpreted as not to stare. This knowledge has been shared for generations to those who want to explore this path. It was never an intention, or it was never imposed on anyone and never hidden from anyone. When we don't share this knowledge that we have, it gets lost forever, right? So the fact that this knowledge is in existence for this long reveals itself that it's been shared with people who are qualified, eligible seekers. That is why it continues. There is no intention to hide anything from anybody. 68 and 69, those who share this knowledge with others and those who listen, both are my dear ones, says Krishna, and both go to a higher plane. Doing all rituals, visiting temples, but not following what is said is not ideal. Such actions will only boost ego. Those who listen to this discussion between us, those who are in Jnana Yoga, they are in Jnana Yoga, the path of knowledge, self-knowledge. Verse 71, Arjuna, those who listen attentively with devotion to this discussion, samvadam, and understand the content, they gain self-knowledge and attain liberation. For some, due to their own likes and dislikes, unable to understand the depth of the knowledge, they still will attain a higher plane. If you understand, you are liberated. Even if otherwise, just listening will take you to the higher plane. Verse 72, Arjuna, did you pay attention to what I said? Did you actively listen to what I said? Are you relieved of all your confusion, moham, due to ignorance? Did you get all your doubts clarified? He's asking Arjuna. Arjuna, it's about 73, Arjuna's response. I'm completely clear. All my questions are answered. All my doubts are cleared. I am firm. I am convinced myself. Arjuna, who refused to fight in chapter 2.7, now who sat down on the chariot without attachments and sorrow and confusion. Now in 1873, he appears to be woken up from a dream. Only the mind is clear, the oneness of Atma, Brahman is gained. Only when the mind is clear, he is reminded of the self-knowledge. The limited self dissolves into the universe and he says, I am firm, ready to do my duty. At this point, the teacher and the teacher teaching, the experience of teaching and the seeker all are one. 74, Sanjay. Sanjay was a charioteer of Dhritarashtra, the blind king, voices his opinion. He says he was provided with the divine vision by Vedavyasa, right? So he says, I heard the noble discussion by the Honorable Sri Krishna and Honorable Arjuna. Means like Arjuna, those who heard this discussion are referred to as honorable. I'm experiencing goosebumps. He's expressing his gratitude to sage Vyasa, who gave him that divine vision. He's comparing himself to the weed by saying that the water sprayed to the plant goes to the weed as well. So I'm truly blessed to be able to listen to this guidance given by Krishna to Arjuna. So are we. So verse 76, I'm extremely happy and contented and in peace as I recall this discussion again and again. He says, verse 77, I'm still in awe at the universal form that I saw in chapter 11, divine vision. I'm astonished, I'm amazed, I'm in admiration. I'm thrilled and I'm happy. Verse 78, he says, Sanjaya is sharing his personal opinion here. Wherever the Lord of Yoga, Yogeshwara, Lord of Yoga is there, and wherever Arjuna is there, there will be lot of wealth, success, victory, and prosperity. There will be honesty, justice, and righteousness. This is my humble opinion. This statement symbolizes that individual efforts together with divine guidance could accomplish the impossible, make the impossible happen. Dhritarashtra should have reconsidered the situation of war, but he was so attached to his sons, he did not see the unrighteous behavior in them. He did not recognize that this war would bring heavy material loss and human loss, lives of people. Right? Ignorance cannot see the bigger picture. Divine guidance and individual righteous efforts need to go hand in hand. Our effort is absolutely necessary. Thinking God will take care of everything won't work, won't materialize. Humans need to play their part. Those who have taken the physical body need to function and surrender all actions and perform all actions as an offering to Lord. That way one matures in spirituality. That is the purpose of human existence. Now, closing now, the entire Gita is two parts to qualify humans for self-upliftment and attain self-knowledge. That is Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Dhyana Yoga. Those three are the Karma Kanda portion. That is Karma Yoga, devotion and meditation, which is Upasana. Jnana Yoga is listening, contemplating, meditation, Nididhyasana. Jnana Yoga, self-knowledge, is the direct means to liberation, freedom from sorrows. Because Gita emphasizes on both Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga, duties and knowledge, it is referred as Yoga Shastra, Gita Upanishad, Panchamo Vedaha. So Bhagavad Gita starts with Dharma, 1.1, and it ends with the word Mama. That means my duties, Mama Dharma, my duties. So with this, even Jesus was a realized person. He said, I am the gardener in the kingdom of God, Lord. So also we are here to only serve everyone. Nothing is mine. Right? I am just doing my duty, Mama Dharma. So may we all attain inner peace and free from sorrow, struggles, and sufferings. You are that existence, consciousness, bliss. Let me share the screen. You can see the few slides and then we can end here. We saw this. Moving on to this is verse 41. Varnas has nothing to do with birth or outward appearance or skin color. Any individual born in any part of the world, any religion, could be a Brahmin. Mental maturity and aptitude are the only criteria. Most misunderstood concept resulting in bias towards other humans. Who is a Brahmana? Purity in mind, self-restraint of senses, simple living without being pompous, cleanliness in thought, word, and deed, patient, kind, honest, sincere in thought, word, and deed should be in alignment, worldly knowledge, and Brahmajnana. Anyone with these qualities anywhere in the universe is a Brahmin. Who is a Kshatriya? Bold, courageous, fearless, relentless, physically strong, mentally daring, risk-taker, firm, solidly grounded in one's mission, clever, tactful, diplomatic. Charity is the vital quality of a Kshatriya. Leadership quality. Those who have these qualities are a Kshatriya. Vaisya is entrepreneur, farm management, manufacturing, independent, not working for a paycheck, transforming raw material to finished product and sharing with public. Manufacturing of alcohol is prohibited here. That is Vaisya. Sudra, one who obeys and takes orders, who works for a paycheck, including government employees, people who take bribes and focus on material life. 45 to 48, one who performs one's own duty gains purity of mind with the thought that whatever is done is worship. No work is insignificant. You can do anything, any kind of work. Anything you do, when you do it as a service, it's all service. It's an offering to God. Whatever you do, treat that as an offering to a divine, and do not perform others' duty. So that is an ashrama. So all these people, if they become sannyasi, do you think they can focus on self-knowledge? They have their duty, innate nature. They have to contribute. That is what he means. And these people, the old people here, disabled, if you expect them to go to work and make money and take care of family, that is hard. So it's depending on the ashram where you are. 52 is do's, lead a simple life, learn to be alone, eat in moderation, choose your thoughts, practice silence, be calm in mind, develop a detached attachment, develop dispassion to ephemerals, spend your precious time in self-knowledge. Do not be egoistic, do not be arrogant, do not have superiority or inferiority complex, do not be do not hold on to pride. Do not aspire to bombastic lifestyles. Do not be angry for every little thing. Do not be overly attached to anything or anyone. Pride will cost you everything but leave you with nothing. Here it says, Magur Dhananjaya Jabbana Garbham Harati Nimeshat Kalam Sarvam. This is from Bhajagovinda, verse 11. A split second, everything could change in a split second. So don't be arrogant of anything. 52-62, Krishna introduced Bhakti Yoga in chapter 7, 9, and elaborately in 12. He says that Karma Yoga is a sustained Bhakti. He further emphasizes that both Bhakti and Jnana both are equally important. Self-knowledge is not hidden from anyone. To understand the divine, one needs to be intellectually eligible. Only upon stepping in this path, one can see the benefits. It cannot be described, visualized, or seen. Without unconditional bhakti, devotion, it is a challenge to perform any effort sadhana. See, it's not hidden from anybody. And why people don't come to spirituality? Because they don't see what is the benefit. If I go to engineering college, I will get this job. If I go to medical college, I will get this job. If I go to military, I will be here. But they don't know what happens to spirituality. Only when you enter inside, you experience it, then you realize that, wow, I didn't know all this. I should continue. That happens only when you enter. Not before. That is why many don't know. They don't see it. And they don't see it in others too. It is mental, inside, antaryami. So this I just picked it up. Balance is required. Otherwise, it is only panditya. You can learn, but you have to apply. Otherwise, you will fall down. It's only, I know it, arrogance. This is the path, theory and practice. You can read all the books, but then you have to make an effort to reach there, to get the graduation. It's not easy. You have to practice what you learn. Then this one is when one Veda, it is called Vedi, two Vedas, Dvidi, Dvivedi, Trivedi, Chaturvedi. There are people who have learned all four Vedas. I used to listen to Sanskrit College, Chennai. There are YouTubes, and there's many are all Chaturvedis. Krishna is cautioning if you do not follow what the way mentioned here, you will face negative consequences and would only waste the human life. You dig your own hole, you are the product of your choices, you have the ability, intellect to analyze, think, and make decisions. Guidance is readily available, Upanishads and Bhagavad Gita, but are you ready to listen to it? This is the chariot is compared to our body, 5 horses or senses. The reins are the mind. This is the intellect. The intellect should make a decision, keep everything in control. I want to cross the street. I'm running. But the intellect tells me, don't run. That car is speeding. If I listen to it, I will stop. If I don't listen to it, I will face the consequences. So always listen to the inner guidance. That is the intellect. And this one is Atma. Atma is Akarta Abhokta, just sitting there. This is, I just got this. Dayananda Saraswati, those days in 1883, there was a stamp in India. The amount of freedom you give others, that much freedom you get. All are intelligent beings, leave them alone, no need to advise. So here Krishna says, I have given you the secret of all secrets. You think about it and do what is right for you. The choice is yours. Verse 65 is a summary of 18, chapter 18. Chapter 18 is summary of Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is a summary of entire Veda. Verse 65 is Karma Kanda. Verse 66 is Jnana Kanda. Veda helps us to pre-qualify for Jnana Kanda. Trust me unconditionally, I'll take care of you, reiterates Lord Krishna from chapter 7.22. This is my promise to you, gives an assurance to those who surrender unto him. This one I just enjoyed. It's available in Google. Bhagavad Gita begins from 211 to 1866. One night I dreamt I was walking along the beach with the Lord. Scenes from my life flashed across the sky. In each one I noticed footprints. Sometimes there were 2 footprints, sometimes there was only one. During the low periods of my life, I could see only one set of prints. So I asked God, you promised me, Lord, that you would walk with me always. Why when I have needed you most, have you not been there for me? That is the question. The Lord replies, only one pair of traces are the times you have seen my child when I carried you. There were only one pair of footprints. I experienced this in my life, so I thought this is interesting. That's when I carried you. But we think about us, we don't think about God. So do not grieve. Just stop Jnana Yoga. Do not grieve because there is no need to grieve. Don't be sad about something that isn't that isn't close at hand. You have no control over it. The wise do not grieve for the dead or living. That is what chapter 2.11 to 18.66. Knock and the door will open. Ask and you shall be given. Meaning only when there is a need, only the needy gets the benefits. Vedanta is not hidden from anyone, but only to the one who is able to grasp it and turn. The student is waiting outside, wants to go in, but he's waiting outside. So that people should come to you to learn. I want to know about this. Please help me out. It's a double-edged sword. It can boost your ego or zero your ego. Either way. So those who give and those who receive the supreme secret attain the highest salvation. Bhagavad Gita is preparing humanity to self-knowledge from early on. Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam, path to Moksha. Mahabharata is Panchama Vedaha. Gita is part of Mahabharata. Therefore, it is also Panchama Vedaha. Bhagavad Gita is also called as Yoga Sastra. with both Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga. It starts with Dharma and ends with Mama. Mama Dharma. I will perform my duty. This is the end. We stop here. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Wow, perfect timing.